Hey kids, the program you're about to listen to contains some adult situations, adult language, themes, and other adult topics. If you're easily offended, this show's not for you.
Naughty Pops. Are you looking for lollipops with adult shapes for any special occasion? Bachelor, bachelorette parties, gag gifts, and more? They have tons of gourmet flavors that are shipped right to your door. Order yours today at www.naughtypopsnow.etsy.com and tell them Krazy Truth sent you.
All right. Good job. Hey, welcome back, all you crazy motherfuckers, to another edition of Krazy Truth. This will be episode 17. We're going to go with that. We're pretty close. Anyways, so we're excited. I am the host with the most. I am Cole. Hi. We're here with the lovely, lovely Miss Amanda.
Hey.
Hey, are we missing a camera today?
I didn't like how it shot.
Oh, okay. All right, never mind that. I have to look away. All right, cool. So we're going to start this the way we start most of our shows, with something funny and crazy, sex in the news. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. All right. So, do you feel like your boobs are too small? Do you feel like you you feel like you need some bigger titties? Okay. So, if you are in that boat, here's what's really cool. There is a company out of Japan. It is EKOD Works, and they have created a T-shirt. And the T-shirts are so much cheaper than a boob job. A T-shirt that the front of the T-shirt features this very specifically designed black and white grid. So with the areas of shading, which makes the person wearing it look like they have a substantially larger chest. Way bigger boobs.
The pictures, when you showed it to me,
Yeah.
she looked like she was probably
A stripper.
double D,
Yes.
EFG.
Right, right. And then you turn to
Not real.
and then you turn
And
to the
then
side.
she turned to the side, and she should have been wearing a training bra.
Yeah, exactly. It is absolutely amazing. Now, here's what's
I
cool.
thought it was gray and black grid.
What did I say? Yeah.
Black and white.
Oh, well, black. Yeah, great. It's multiple. Yeah, but it's the grid. It's all about the grid.
Yes.
It's all about the grid. So here's the thing. This shirt, they're selling them online in the UK for £28. And the T-shirt itself, the back is available in white or pink. So you can get pretty in pink. They've sold out. They can't keep them in stock.
That doesn't surprise me.
That is fucking awesome. I know. I want to get one of these. This would be great. Look at my boobs. So I encourage everybody.
I don't know about
Well,
that.
think of it this way. Before you spend the money for a boob job, buy a T-shirt, see how you look with bigger boobs, wear it around. Seriously, wear it around. If you have small boobs and you're not used to guys like staring at your boobs, wear them around where you get used to guys going, wow, and then you can decide if you want a boob job or not. I'm in on these. These things rock. There we go. So there
you
you
need one?
You don't really need one. If you had one, you'd look like the stripper that's trying to have watermelons on her boobs or on her chest. On her boobs? What? Great. Okay.
I have no idea. Will it make them look perkier?
It didn't. No, it'll just make them look like they're really big, but around your stomach.
Nice. God.
Well, of course it's going to make them look perkier. If you have small boobs, and all of a sudden you have big boobs, small boobs aren't going to sag noticeably, right?
But if you already sag to begin with, and then you put this on, is it going to make them look like they're hanging down to your knees?
I don't think it's designed for somebody with bigger boobs. I don't know. They may break the shirt. Your boobs are too big. It'd break the shirt.
Okay.
There you go. So make sure you get one of those. Again, I would imagine that they're probably available here in the States too. I haven't been able to find that. Hopefully, you know what we'll have to try to do, sound guy, on the YouTube video. We should try to find a picture of that. All right. See, look at me assigning stuff as we go.
Nice.
This is awesome. Yeah, during the show. All right, so let's get going. You know what we're going to do today? We're going to do what we do every day, every week. We're going to answer questions.
Sometimes we do it every day, too.
Sometimes we do it every day, too. Absolutely. All right, so the first question, this question comes to us from Montana. There are people in Montana, and they have sex questions. So the sex question, another anonymous. People don't want us to use their name.
It's okay.
And here's the thing. It's not a bad question.
Like
so,
there aren't 50 million people named Sam and 50 million people named, Tom. And Jim and,
Yeah. We can have a show on that. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
God.
I'll be here all week. All right. So the question is fantasies. Okay. Do you act on all of them? This is kind of like a 3-part question here thing. Do you act on all of them? Are some meant just to stay a fantasy? How do you bring them up with a partner? And what are some possible fears when you bring up fantasies with a partner? That's a really good series of questions, actually,
Okay.
in the process. So I think we should take it backwards first.
Yeah.
Let's do it ass backwards. It's the Kasbh way. So
Sometimes.
the first one is, how do you bring them up with a partner, or should you bring them up with a partner? I mean that. Okay, so as we've explored in the lifestyle, obviously some fantasies are easier to talk with. At least for us, we're easier to talk with about a partner than others. I would say.
Yes. You shouldn't have any fear of talking to your partner about it, but I guess it depends on if you know how well you know them and how comfortable, not how well you know them, but how comfortable you are with them.
It depends on how out there the fantasy is.
Well, I don't know. There's some that are pretty out there that you told me about, but
What? Excellent. Yeah, I'm glad. We'll be sharing those on the show. But how long had we been together before we talked about him? A lot of those fantasies never came up until after the fact that we were in the lifestyle. And
Well,
we had
yeah.
been together a lot of years before that. Let's face it.
True.
For some people, the first fantasy to try to bring up with somebody, with a significant other, is to explore the lifestyle. I mean, that's a huge problem right off or not a problem, a challenge right off the bat. How do you approach that right off the very beginning? So once you've taken, if you can bring up the, hey, you want to fuck other people, everything else should get a little bit easier from there.
well, I think you shared the desire for threesomes before you did the lifestyle.
Yes, I pushed for threesomes for a long time.
You did.
But that was an easier thing to ask for. That was a way easier. That was a way easier thing to ask for than actually having sex with other people. What I mean was to be able to have taken and have just the overall a threesome and have sex with other people in general. That was like not a big deal. So the thing is currently we're having a few technical issues, but we'll be okay. So yes, we wanted to do the threesome stuff first. But with every fantasy, there were some fantasies we didn't discover until later on down the road, right? I mean, because one of ours was the whole throat thing.
Right.
All right, so we didn't even discover that until later on.
Well, but that was more of a you saw somebody else do it, so you want to try it type of thing.
Yes,
That's not
and-
really a fantasy in my mind.
Well, but then it progressed. Well, and we're only talking about some of those. So the first thing you have to do is you have to be honest with your significant other. Part of the joy of the lifestyle is being able to take and explore totally different parts of your sexuality. Mm-hmm. So you have to be honest. You have to be upfront and let people know what it is you want to do.
And finding somebody with that same fantasy, so you're not doing it necessarily on your partner. That might
So you're not
be into
surprising
it.
the fuck out of your partner.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's way better to have that conversation than to surprise somebody. So obviously the fears of it are that they're going to react like, oh my God, that's gross. Oh my God, I can't believe you think that way. Rape fetish.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
That's
big
the
one.
first one that came to my mind.
Yeah, that's a big one. Consent and non-consent. So they take in, and it's the fear factor. People go, oh my God, that's so over the top. The thing is, you have to just be honest with people. You have to be honest with your significant other and say, hey, look, this is something, I don't know, talk it through. You might be surprised your significant other might think the exact same thing.
That's true.
So at least if you talk with them, right? So have courage to bring it up. Now, if it's something that's illegal, like, hey, you know what? Let's do a snuff film. That maybe not so much. Just
Maybe not.
you're just looking at me. Okay, so should some fantasies stay fantasies?
I think yes.
Why?
Because it might ruin the actual experience.
But what if it was the greatest experience in the world? See, there's the challenge.
I don't know.
Again, if some fantasies should stay probably fantasies for private time, for in your hotel room, at home, whatever the case may be. But I think that anytime you have the opportunity to grab life by the balls, you should grab it and go with it. And live out your fantasies. Because ultimately, isn't that why we're in the lifestyle?
Some of us don't have fantasies like others.
That is such bullshit. We go through this every time with Buckley. You just haven't thought of them.
Maybe. I don't know.
There's no... You have no fantasies? No bucket list, no fantasies. Nothing.
No.
Not a single thing gets y'all like, yummy. Okay. Okay, for those of you that do have fantasy, go ahead and try them. Here's the other reason. If something is illegal, again, snuff films, whatever, just don't know.
Incest.
But I understand now, if you're going to live out your fantasies, some fantasies, if you're going to live them out in public, like even at a lifestyle event, if it's out of the norm, don't be surprised if you get some unusual looks. I mean, we talk about no kink shaming all the time, but the reality of it is that we all know that if something's unique enough, that some people are going to have some sort of response to it. There's no way around it. It is what it is. So you have to at least kind of keep that in mind a little bit. So that kind of ties in. Do you act on all of them? I think you do. I think you go for it. I think you live life to the fullest. If the opportunity comes for a fantasy, you jump on that fucker and you ride it to the end. If that's your fantasy.
If you find somebody that wants to do that particular fantasy with you.
Well, maybe that fantasy doesn't involve somebody else. Well, then it's just masturbation. But I mean, it's still, that's kind of a unique, I just want to beat up. So I don't know. I mean, yes.
If you have a rape fantasy, you might want to find out if somebody else has that same fantasy you do.
Yes, you need to. Okay, let's put this out there right now. There are certain fantasies or kinks that you need to actually take and make. Those are things that need to be discussed in advance.
The consent, non-consent.
Here's the deal. Kinks are not something that you just take and randomly do. They take more planning than that. They take thought process. You don't just go to the store and go, you know what the hell? You have talked about it'd be kind of erotic with a whip, and I think it'd be erotic with a whip. You don't go to the old, farm store down the street, buy a bullwhip, come home and just start beating the crap out of each other. You do not know what the fuck you're doing. It takes a little bit of thought process and training. And some of the others, because it is a huge one.
Research.
Consent, non-consent with rape fantasies, that is huge. And it's important that you have to communicate that. You can't just go off the reservation and start doing that shit. It just doesn't work that way.
Then it's just rape.
Well, then it's going to a whole new ball game. I think if you actively communicate your fantasies with your significant other, and here's the thing for significant others, you have to be a little bit open. I mean, at least hear the person out, right? You don't have to necessarily agree to it. I am not saying, please, everybody hear my words right now. We are not saying that just because your significant other says, this is my fantasy, you have to do that. Not in the least. But at least hear them out, because know that it probably took a lot of courage and guts to go ahead and bring it up.
Yes.
Because when we talked about some of the things that we discovered that we liked, and I discovered some of the more aggression things that I like, those were things that I even admitted to you. There was stuff that I had talked about, that I had wanted, had thought about, but had never had courage enough to ask you in the 20 years we've been married at that point in time to do it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it takes courage and have an open communication. The other thing I would throw out there is, well, let me ask you this. If your significant other is not okay to participate in the fantasy, okay, is it okay if you find someone else in the lifestyle? Like, you're not into it, but I find little Susie Lou who is into it. Is it okay for me to ask to go perform that fantasy with her versus with you?
Well, yeah. As long as it's like on your no, not on the no playlist.
The no fuck list.
If I agree upon it and they agree upon it, and if we all agree upon it, rock on.
But would it be harder to agree upon it? Because here's the thing. There's got to be a reason why you wouldn't do it. So if it's a fantasy that it's like you're opposed to, you're like, ooh, that's gross, that's wrong, whatever the case may be, are you truly going to be okay with me going and performing that with somebody else? Because aren't you going to have the same problems and issues with it, of doing it, whether it's with you or with somebody else? I mean, couldn't that actually be a legitimate concern? Because all of a sudden it's like, well, if you don't agree with the whole thing to begin with, then
I guess it depends on the fantasy. There's some that I just don't want to watch. I will not watch it. I don't want to even be anywhere close by when you're doing it.
Okay, right. There's some, right. I get it. There's some that you don't want to watch. I get that. So, what if it's one though that you just are completely opposed to it even happening? I mean, and I don't know an example what that'd be. I don't know. We're not into golden showers. Neither one of us are. And all of a sudden I'm like, I want to do a golden shower.
If you can find somebody to pee on, go for it. That does not gross me out, or I'm appalled that you'd even want to do that. But I think if there was something big enough that I was totally against, you should be understanding on that.
I agree. No, I agree. I think there, again, it comes down to the communication. I think you have to give. I think you have to. That's why it's so important. You have to tell your significant other what your fantasies are, because here's my thing. If you don't, like, if I never told you that I totally dig the whole, throat thing, and all of a sudden we're in a situation we've never talked about, and you see me do that to somebody else, it's gonna be like, what in the fuck is going on? I mean, seriously. So, but if you know it and you know that, hey, this is something that I dig, whatever the case may be, you're going to be more open. You're going to, okay, yeah, that doesn't surprise me, right?
Yeah, you have come. No, you've come back with. I'm like, you're into that since when?
Yeah. So I mean, again, talk. You have to communicate with this shit. Because here's the deal. The shit that you thought you were into when you first started is going to be different after you've been into it a couple of years. I don't.
Just a little bit.
I don't care who you are. Well, it is. It's absolute. It's gonna be different all the way across the board. That's what it goes to. Okay. That's really good. Fantasy questions. You're about the same height. It's like Fantasy Island. The plane.
Wow.
Send all hate mail to Cole at.
Yeah, do.
Okay, so let's take
I'm all for that.
Let's take a quick second
really?
For our for sponsors of our second half of the show. Club G, where friends and pleasure come together. Come visit Club G, the hottest new lifestyle club in Des Moines. Over 3,200 square feet, huge dance floor, private play areas, and plenty of places for quiet conversation. Club G. Contact them for more information at dsmlsc01@gmail.com. You guys are all so happy that I actually got that right. Woohoo! 17 shows into it and finally got the sponsor right. Yay! All right. So the next question. This is a unique question. This is probably one of the most unique questions we've dealt with so far.
Okay.
Are you ready? The question comes from Anonymous. They actually asked that I not even say a state or anything.
Okay.
Anonymous.
Sure.
How do you deal with loneliness in the lifestyle? So I contacted Anonymous because I didn't totally understand that question to begin with.
Okay.
I'm like, well, what do you mean? And how even though there was a couple of different parts they talked about, even though you are with people that you feel ostracized from your friends and family because it's like the secret identity, the secret part of your life that you can't share with anybody else. So it's this exciting part of your life and you can't share it with other people because they judge or could judge. And then in turn on top of it, you're lying to people. So the example that this person gave was they had went out, met a individual, had a hookup. It was a great time. They were having brunch the next day with a group of their very, very close friends. And everybody's like, wow, you seem like in a good mood. What's going on? And the person had to lie. It's nothing. And that actually has caused this person to feel distant from their friends. Yeah, exactly. That's okay. So I guess one, have you ever felt that?
No.
Your look says you don't even see how that's possible.
Well, I don't see why it's that big of an issue that you feel the need that you... no, it's just awkward because what's wrong with telling your friends I had sex?
Well,
That's what has me in a good mood. Why do you have to say? Why would you feel bad if that's a hidden part of your life to not even admit that you? What's the problem with lying a little bit, or just say, "Hey, I woke up in a good mood." You're not Willie. You're not
Willie. Willie was involved. That's why it was such a good mood.
It's not like that's really lying because it's not. You woke up in a good mood because you got laid the night before.
But okay, so the way I can look at that though, from your perspective, is you're not somebody that shares a lot of that. We're not somebody that we have groups of friends that we just randomly like, hey, so I got fucked last night. I mean, that's not part of like our normal conversation. I get it. I mean, I can understand for some people that they feel, what's the biggest joke in the lifestyle? Well, when somebody goes, well, how do you know them? I met a friend of a friend, right? Mm-hmm. Or met him at a bar. We've laughed about it. There's videos out about it, whatever. So I can see where some people, if you had a really, really close group of friends that you shared everything with, and all of a sudden here's this cool or unique part of your life, and all of a sudden you can't share that with anybody, that you would start to feel.
But if you were that good of friends, would they judge you badly for the choices that you make?
Well, but see, that gets interesting. So, story time. So, my very best friend in high school, we've been friends for 33 years now. He knows what we do, right? Because I said, hey, give me questions for from a vanilla standpoint. And he was like, I knew that he wouldn't judge. Or I was pretty sure. I didn't know for sure he wouldn't. And he didn't. But I also know another friend of mine that I've been friends with for almost the same length of time. I posed the same question to them, and they haven't spoken to me since. So there are some people that, from whether it be moral convictions, whatever it might be, that are going to judge you. So that's a risk that you take, is that you're going to have people that might judge you because of what you're doing. My question, I guess, would be is how much of that stuff do you really need to share anyways? Mm-hmm. I mean, seriously, how much on a day-to-day basis? My best friend from high school and all these years, there's still a lot of parts of my life and our life that I don't share with him. Mm-hmm. And I know there's lots of parts of his life he doesn't share with me. We still talk all the time and we're super close, but why do you have to share that much?
Yeah.
In terms of the lying part, I don't know. To me, it's like it's not so much. You're not lying to anybody. Everybody does not have a need to know everything about your life. I mean, this is that whole thing of when somebody walks up and goes, "Hi, how are you?" The correct answer is, "Fine." Stop. And nobody actually wants to hear all the rest.
Right.
Okay, so do you really need to share everything about your life? I mean, part of what, if you're a single, I can see it be a little more open because you're dating or whatever the case may be. As a couple, shouldn't that stay between you as a couple? Why do you need to share that with everybody else out there all over the place about every aspect of your life? Mm-hmm. Do you share every aspect of your finances? Do you share every aspect of your kids' drama, or, you know, when you've got the shits one day because you ate some bad sushi or something? No, you don't share every part of that. Why would you do that with this part of it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Now, the feeling lonely part, I can understand that to a degree, though. Mm-hmm. I can understand sometimes I think people put too much expectation on what they're going to get out of the lifestyle, mm-hmm. right? So there's this process of either you're always going to get laid, or every person you talk to is going to be your close personal friend. Okay, the lifestyle is no different than any other aspect of your life, mm-hmm. right? It's no different than your job or anywhere else. So everybody that you work with isn't your best close personal friend, right? So it's the same thing with the lifestyle. They're not everybody you're going to meet. You may be social to them and cordial to them. It doesn't mean that they're your best friend or that you're going to tell them everything.
Right.
Sorry about that. Sound guy's losing his fucking mind tonight. It's awesome. So
he's marking down minutes.
So you have to keep that in mind. Now, I think that people make that mistake, that they mistake sex and those types of activities for some sort of either like a deeper trust or a deeper meaning, something deeper than what it really fucking is. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, we're weird. We don't date. And we've said this before, and I'll say it again. We don't fucking date. We don't date. We're never going to date. We never have dated. That's bullshit in our world. Send all hate mail to me. I don't care. So it's just sex. Like, I don't need to know your life story or have you become my best friend to have sex with you. I mean, if that works out, great. Okay. But if not, okay. So I think people try to put this deeper meaning and this deeper everything to it than what it's really supposed to be. Mm-hmm. You are going to have people in the lifestyle that are ass clowns. You're going to have people that are backstabbers, and you're going to have people that are nice, and you're going to have people that are
drama.
You're going to have you're going to have all that shit. It's just like any other microcosm of life. It's going to be there. If you choose to be lonely in the lifestyle, a lot of that is on you. Mm-hmm. Now, for those the note out there for people that have pages and have events and do a lot of that kind of stuff, it's a little bit different ballgame.
Yeah, it is. In
the lifestyle, there is a lot of times that you can actually feel more like secluded.
Yeah,
a little bit in the lifestyle. I mean, that goes with it, but you know that going into it. Or, well, if you don't, surprise, that's what happens. So you figure it out as you go. So that part of it is something that can be really, I don't know, you just kind of deal with it and move forward. Mm-hmm. But I think that if you're feeling lonely, if you're looking for, you got to know what you're looking for in the lifestyle, don't you? A little bit?
Yeah, some people have somewhat of an idea. I mean, there are people that are out there looking for poly relationships, for emotional attachment.
Yeah, yeah. And if that's what you're looking for, great, but you need to be upfront about that.
And there's people that are just looking for exclusive partners.
Again, and that's great, and you need to be upfront about that. The key is you can't go in and you can't go up to, if you try to do a poly relationship with us, you are going to be sadly disappointed. Because that's not our gig, and we're not out. So you have to be honest with that kind of stuff, and you got to know, you kind of pick your partners, kids. It's not a key party anymore. You have to know that and be a little more aware of that as you go through and do this stuff, so that you have your expectations are set more realistically. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that was I actually like that question. Okay, just because it's totally different. It's hard to crack jokes over it though. Fuck. Okay.
Yeah, no.
All right. So, hey, I want to touch on one other thing, though, real quick. How are we doing on time? Oh, awesome. We're doing great on time. Okay. So, I want to touch on one because we're going into party season. Party season. We're going into the greatest holiday season of in the swinger calendar. The swinger calendar, which is Halloween in October. And we've actually had a whole bunch of people shoot us emails and instant messages and whatever to remind it, and they wanted us to talk about this. Again, no means no. We've had a whole bunch of people that have hit us with this. So, okay, I'm just going to throw this out here. So let's give an example. Okay, let's say that you're into secret identity. So you have a costume that doesn't. Somebody you and a friend, Batman. You have a friend, and they have a monkey suit costume, so you can't see the face at all, right?
Okay.
That guy's going,
where the hell are we going?
So they have a
this?
monkey suit costume on, and that guy is talking to you, and you decide you're going to go hook up with that guy.
Do I know who this guy is behind said mask?
No.
Okay.
So he goes, give me 1 second. I got to go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And then go in the bathroom, and we change masks. Now, I have the monkey mask on, and I go up, and I fuck you. Was that an acceptable kink? I don't even know what that kink would be called, to be perfectly honest with you. But would that be acceptable?
Well, no, but do I not catch on that it was changed?
No, because we're dressed the same, and you haven't seen a penis yet or anything else, and so all of a sudden go up, and then when it's all done, he comes up and we both laugh and go, "Hey, look what we did! We actually switched." Would that be acceptable?
No, that'd piss me off.
It would piss you off because that's not a kink at that point in time. I don't know if that's a kink in real life, but that's not a kink then because you didn't have a voice in the kink. You were just like a victim. Now, if you reverse this scenario, see if I can back through this. Reverse this scenario. You're talking to a guy and he says, "Hey, here's the deal. This friend and I, we have this thing where maybe you'll be fucking me, maybe you'll be fucking somebody else. You won't know, we're going to leave the mask on." And you go, "Okay, that's kind of hot. I agree to do that." At that point in time, that is a kink because you then have the right to say yes or no whether or not you want to be involved with it. And I think over Halloween, especially in any parties, but over Halloween parties and this season, it's very easy to just make this assumption that this is the kink I'm into. So we're at a swingers party. It's the swinger, holiday of the year. So that means you have to be in on it too, or you have to be okay with it. And that's not the fucking case. Mm-mm. No means no. Kinks are only a kink if everybody involved has the right to say no.
Agreed.
Okay? So we just want to stress that because this is like Kasbh or Crazy Truth service announcement. People, you have to say no. And here's the deal. You have the right as the individual to firmly say no. At no point in time should you be pressured. And if you're somebody that wants to try to take and pull that shit,
or manipulate.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Manipulate, try to take advantage of the situation. Here's the deal. If something like that starts to happen, what you need to do, you need to go to the organizer of the party or to security immediately and tell them what the fuck's going on. Mm-hmm. Okay? Because somebody like that, that's not somebody who we want in the lifestyle. That's not going to make it fun. Now, I also, if anybody knows if whatever the kink I described is actually a kink, please let me know because I want to know what the fuck that's called. Or if I just invented a brand new kink. I'll bet you I invented a brand new kink right there.
It'd almost be the same as being blindfolded and have a gangbang or something. I don't know.
No, that is not the same as being blindfolded. There is no way. There is no way in the world.
I don't know.
That is, no, but you know what's great? There are now Halloween party planners all over the world going to go, that motherfucker, great. Now we've got to watch out for this shit. He just created some new sort of kink.
Well, maybe you did.
Well, that's where I roll. The thing is, we want people to be safe out there, and we want people to know. We hear about it all the time. People make this assumption, especially at big parties, and it just happens that Halloween's the party season. But at big parties, where people make the assumption that if I'm into it, you have to be into it. It's no different than it's establishing boundaries. Mm-hmm. All the way through. I mean, if anal sex is a no-go with you, then bottom line, I have a responsibility to honor that no matter what. I have a responsibility to honor that and make sure and not to do that. And you are not required under any circumstances to do that. Just so everybody knows, here at the Kasbh Studios, one of the nice things is we're pet friendly here, and we love our pets. And he's real active tonight. So if you hear barking, that's why. Do you want to go on anything else with this? God. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Here's what I think we're gonna do. I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a wrap for this episode tonight. Oh no, we're not. No, wait, no. Hey, you're gonna want to write this time down because we're gonna edit this part out. Hold on. Okay, so we just got, for those of you that don't know, we obviously do this show live as well. And we got a great question off of our Krazy Kasbh website. And the question is, how do you deal with exes and their jealousy or issues once you go into the lifestyle? That's a great question. Now, okay, so where I'm going to start with a little bit, we're obviously fortunate enough, we've only been married to each other, so we haven't had to deal with any exes.
No.
But obviously, when you're dealing with exes and you know that people, one of the things we want right with this is the individual talked about how an ex has hacked their email and found out about email, and we've seen it ourselves personally where exes have tried to out their former spouse to their parents and to other people in their community, and this is a real serious. Or can be a real serious issue. So, number one, think about anything you have out there. Okay, if you have emails, if you've used I'm notorious. If you know 2 pieces of information about me, you can probably access everything digitally that I'm on in the world. Okay, so you might want to change those up a little bit. The sound guy is pretty sure he's going to give out our passwords. But anyways, if you know that stuff, you want to make it and change that. Make it so it's something that you never used before or that an ex wouldn't even think about, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, emails, phone codes, whatever the case may be, you need to obviously know that and change those. Number 2, you have to, if you have someone that's not a pretty breakup, pretty scene, however you want to word that, you kind of have to be ready that could be something that might be used against you, and you have to have answers, think ahead of time. I mean, don't allow yourself to be caught off guard, like in community and things like that. If it's something that you are afraid they're going to do something, have an answer ready for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm a true believer that's the best thing you can do. Well, so-and-so said that you're a swinger. A what? Really? When would I have time to do that? Or whatever the case may be. Have an answer that's natural to say.
I have one for my work.
Okay.
That if I were ever taken into the HR office and they said, well, the rumor is that you're swingers, my response is going to be, do I like it?
Exactly. Yeah, well, I mean, and there you go.
Do I?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're going to make up this stuff, surely they told you if I like it or not.
And just even how you said that, it was natural. Mm-hmm. So this way, you do it so that you're not caught off guard. Mm-hmm. Because you're someone that you go, I don't want to get caught off guard with that. So this way you don't hesitate and fumble around trying to come up with an answer. Mm-hmm. Now, right along with that, let's say there's going to be court things involved, because that happens. We've seen that happen.
We've seen it happen where we've deleted a bunch of shit for people.
Yes. Yeah, we removed them. They were on a page, the whole 9 yards. But the one thing we encourage everybody to do is be honest with your attorney. There's 2 people in this world you don't lie to. You don't lie to your doctor and you don't lie to your attorney. You need to be ahead of time and let them know that you're part of this, or you're part of the lifestyle, because otherwise
they'll choose what they want to use and what they don't.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make sure that they have the opportunity to be prepared as well. But along with that is think about how, I know that breakups can get ugly and things can get really, really mean. So we've heard, again, thank God to this point in time, she's staying with me. The thing is that make sure that you don't try to use it against your ex. Mm-hmm. I would imagine the temptation is there to use that. So make sure you don't do that. Make sure that as far as in the swinging world, if you're no longer being the lifestyle, rock on. That's fine. The rest of the community doesn't necessarily need to know why, but you don't want to bring that drama into the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. You don't want, nothing will cause you to not be able to go on a lifestyle than getting into dishing all that drama back and forth, like on a if you're a part of a group or a page or whatever the case may be. Mm-hmm. Again, remember, you want to keep as much of the stuff out of, and no one else needs to fucking know. And if you're prepared in case you have an ex that does something stupid like that, then you'll be fine. And if you make sure that you don't take and bring that out into the lifestyle, that's the biggest place. A lot of times there will be a lot of rumors. Whenever there's a breakup out of the lifestyle, there's always a lot of rumors. Mm-hmm. People are always curious because here they've known you as a couple, or they've known, how you play or whatever the case may be. And people will wonder. And even though they wonder, again, you're not required just because you're in lifestyle to tell anybody anything. The best thing you can do generally is pretty much, if you want to tell them that, hey, you're no longer together, rock on. But the rest of the drama part of it, you got to keep it out. Mm-hmm. Because it's bad all the way across the board.
So is it really jealousy, or is it revenge, or just trying to get you back for hurting them? Or
I think it's a lot of all the above. I really do. I think there's some of it that's jealousy, some of it's anger, some of it, there's a lot of different reasons for it, and which a lot of it ties into legal shit, because anymore, there's the thing called revenge porn, where people, those private pictures that you guys shared get posted somewhere where they're not supposed to. That's illegal. And almost every state has a revenge porn law now. So I think that there's a lot of anger and obviously emotions. Anytime you tie emotions in with anything, it's gonna boil over. Especially if the lifestyle was part of the cause of the breakup. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things why we continually preach about conversation and communication, is that to make sure that the lifestyle does not become part of the issue. Feelings developing and things along why the rules are so important, to make sure that no one's breaking the rules all the way across the board, because those are things that lead to other issues. There's very few things. Most people aren't going to go to work, and just because they go to work necessarily cause a breakup all the way across the board. But it's the interaction with other people and the emotion that you start to feel. So when you do an activity like in the lifestyle where you're talking about sex, and then you're starting talking about some people playing alone and the rules and everything like that, you can't have that a gray area. You can't have a gray area of what is and is not allowed, because it just once shit gets going, then it's very, very hard to stop. Mm-hmm. all the way across the board.
I will agree with that. Absolutely.
Yeah, and the thing is that, really, again, keeping this stuff, as much of stuff to yourself and out of the public is the best across the board. All right. There you go. Thank you again very much for the comments from the live, all the questions. I want to take a quick second here, and we want to thank our sponsors. You go first.
That's me. Naughty Pops. Are you looking for lollipops with adult shapes for any special occasion? Bachelor, bachelorette parties, gag gifts, some more. Maybe you just want some of your own. They have tons of gourmet flavors, and they're very good, that are shipped right to your door. You can order yours today at www.naughtipopsnow.etsy.com and tell them Crazy Truth sent you.
All right, and also, we want to give a big shout-out to Club G. Again, remember, where friends and pleasure come together. Visit Club G, the hottest new lifestyle club in Des Moines. Huge dance floor, private play areas, plenty of places for quiet conversations. If you want to take and contact Club G, contact them via email, dsmlsc01@gmail.com. All right, guys. Again, thank you so much. Remember, you can follow so many different places that you can take and follow us on our YouTube channel, which is Kasbh. You can also follow us on Instagram, which is Krazy, Krazy _Kasbh, Kasbh. You can also follow us at Twitter. That's right. On Twitter, you can follow us. And it's at Truth Crazy. Yeah, I said that right. At Truth Crazy. And if you like what you hear, don't forget to support our Patreon, www.patreon.com. And if you're going, you know what I really need? I need a shirt. I need some Crazy Truth swag. We've got that for you. You can actually go to teespring.com backslash stores backslash crazy dash truth.com. Finally, send us your questions, your comments, hate mail, love mail, whatever you got for us. Send us to our email at crazy.kasbh@gmail.com. All right, doing it the only way I know how, and the only way I want to, Kasbh style, out.
Bye.